प्रेम से बोलो प्रभु रामचंद्र की जय। मापते महादेव की जय। महाशक्ति देवी की जय। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। प्रियवर भक्तजनों, पूजन के अंत में आरती की जाती है। पूजन में जो पूर्ति रह जाती है, आरती से उसकी पूर्ति होती है। भक्तजनों, आरती करने, दिखने और सुनने में समान पुण्य होता है। तो आइए हम सब इसमें भाग लें। After puja, beautiful bhajans. Now we should have Arati the way we were received tonight. So let's all stand us together to join in Ramayana Arati. Hare Om Ganananta Ganapati Havamehi Priyananta Priyapati Havamehi Nidhenanta Nidhipati Havamehi Vaso Mama Aham Jani Karvadam Atmajasi Karvadam Pratham Putrete Dvityam Brahmacharine Trityam Chandakhandete Pushmandete Chaturvikam Panchamam Skandamate Shashtam Katyanirvijam Satsang Kalaraprete Mahagauri Chashmavam Navamasiddhyatecha Navdurgapakirtita Om Namah Shivaya। आनंददाता ज्ञान है तो शीघ्र सारे विघ्नों से दूर हमें से कीजिए। लीजिए हमको शरण में, हम सदाचारी जाए ब्रह्मचारी धर्म रक्षक प्रभु वीर प्रतिधारी बने। You are the light that dispels all darkness. To you we have come. We seek enlightenment. Let that divine light remove the darkness from within our minds. दया करो प्रभु, कृपा करो हे नाथ, हे दीन दयालु त्रिलोकीनाथ भगवान, रक्षा करो। सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। प्रभु रामचंद्र की जय। Satsang very special welcome to you, this wonderful evening of devotion to the Divine Lord. ये तो भगवान की असीम कृपा है, such is the blessings that the Lord has given us, that He has brought all of us together to be conferred with His blessings, our bhagya. But all of this is made possible to the dedication of our good friend Dr. Birja and his daughter Madhu. And today is a very special day for Madhu. Today she celebrates her birthday. And she thought, today must not go by without inviting my friends and family. And I want to sit in front of my Prabhu and offer up bread to Bhagwan. So Madhu, blessings to you. And of course, we want to wish you happy birthday. And to the doctor, always there supporting us, doctor. Thank you very much for the invitation to join with your family in this wonderful evening of devotion. To our listeners of Radio Jagrati, a very special welcome to you, and of course to our listeners of the World Wide Web, jagrati.com, a special welcome to you. And of course, taking our broadcast is none other than a good friend, Dave Ramsuchak. Dave, thank you very much again for being here, taking our broadcast, and of course, you are no stranger to this Monday. You always here, giving us your blessings. To our sponsors, we have to say Bhagwan's blessings to you, and to open as well, Vishesh Vyas, performing puja, Pundit Vyas, and our Satsang Kashmir, Panaraj. Of course, it's our blessings to be here in this beautiful mandir, singing the praises of Bhagwan. Principal Prabhuram, Janmati Jai. And I'll find it out. Now we will go ahead and pray. Let's meditate. If you look up to the altar, tonight I give you the privilege to select anyone you want. Any of those falls you want to meditate on, you make the choice, and then offer your prayer to Bhagwan. Hand the joker in the position of prayer. Let's all bow as we seek blessings of the Lord. Concentrate, meditate. Visualize the beautiful form of Prabhu Shri Ram. 18 in the hour. May who I did it well. I have come to your doors alone. Shiva Chiraka, with my head bowed, my hand in the joker with my hands clasped, my big down, indeed in the other, compassionate merciful Lord, we pray. Shri Ganesha Namaha, Shri Saraswate Namaha, Shri Gurudev Namo Namaha, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukavev Bandham Mrityurmukshyamardana. Om Namah Shivaya. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddharupevi Samstita. Namastasya, 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 Namo Namaha. Namaste, 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 Namo Namaha. To Shri Vishnu Shambhakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Sudesham Vishwadharam Gaganasadesham Megavaranam Subhamam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayam Yogi Vidyanaganam Pundit Deodath Vyas नमोस्तुते देवी हनुमान महाप्रभु जो कछु संकट होय हमारो कौन सो संकट मोर निवृत्त जो तुमसे जो कहता ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। प्रेम से बोलो प्रभु रामचंद्र की जय। Guruvar meaning the day of the Guru. So today in Hindi is called Guruvar, the day in which the Guru is worshipped, Brihaspativar. The Guru of the gods is Brihaspati. So today is a day that is specially dedicated to the Guru in any form. The Guru of the demons is named Shukracharya. The Guru of the gods is named Brihaspati. The Guru of Sri Ram, Vashishta. So the Guru name. A healing calm descended at the mere sight of my Guru. A healing calm descended at the mere sight of my Guru. Each day with him was a new experience, in joy and peace and wisdom. Never did I find him deluded or emotionally intoxicated with the greed, anger, or human attractions. Never before did I find him in an angry frame of mind. You know who uttered those words and who spoke about his Guru in such glowing terms? Paramahansa Yogananda. He spoke of his Guru in such glowing terms. A healing calm descended at the mere sight of my Guru. In the sight and the presence of Guru, a healing calm descended on him. Each day with him was a new experience, in joy, in peace, and in wisdom. This is what he got from his Guru, in the healing presence of his Guru. And who was the Guru? Sri Yukteswar, one of the great Gurus of all times, Sri Yukteswar. And so that healing calm descended on him. And you know, when his Guru died, he took part in, the final ceremony of his Guru. And one day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, as he sat in meditation, a brilliant light appeared in front of him. When he opened his eyes, he was dazzled. When he looked again, he saw it was his Guru who had come to him. He got up and he hugged up his Guru and embraced his Guru. Then he stepped back and said, Guruji, is this the same body I buried in the sands of Puri? He helped to bury his Guru in the sands in a place called Puri. He said, is this the same body? He said, yes, my child. I have come back to you, my disciple. He says, you see it as a physical body. I do not see it as a physical body. And his Guru appeared in front of him. And the conversation started with Swami Yogananda and his Guru. And a beautiful conversation. And so in the presence of his Guru, a healing calm descended on him. So friends, on this day of Guruvar, we shall do Guru Vandana. As I explained, we should do Guru Vandana for us, today we must remember all Gurus. If he is somewhere up there, he is looking down upon us. But when Krishna says, body goes, souls do not go. The souls of our ancestors and our Gurus and all these great souls, they are up there looking down. You see, so this evening, as we join together in Guru Vandana, we pray that the Guru shall descend, rather show his blessings upon each one of us. So after Guru Vandana, I want to tell you about the Holy Shadow. Each one of us will have a shadow that walks with us around. And I want to tell you about the Holy Shadow just before we begin. Shri Ram Kahani. Principal of Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Guru outwardly unbendable. The Guru, inwardly humble, outwardly unbendable. Such is the nature of the Guru. Even Bhagavan Shri Ram, Guru Griha gave Parhana Rabhana. Shri Ram went to the home of his Guru, and there he was given the necessary teachings and the necessary training. When the five brothers Yudhishthira, Nakul, Bhima and Sahadev, they were playing with the ball and it fell in a well. They tried to get the ball out. But no matter what they did, they couldn't get the ball out. There was a gentleman standing nearby. He came and said, "Children, what is the matter?" He said, "If you can take the ball out, we will give you the best of meals." He took a piece of grass and he threw it and stuck in the ball. He took up another piece and he threw it again. And so he made a string of grass and he pulled the ball out of the well. The five brothers looked at him. "What manner of man is he? Who are you?" They questioned. "Go and ask your grandfather, Bhisham Pitamahan, he will tell you why." They went to Bhisham Pitamahan and Bhisham Pitamahan said, "He is the Guru of all Gurus. He is Dronacharya, the greatest archer." And so the five sons, they got christened him. And he promised Arjun, he said, "Arjun, I'll make you the best archer." Like Raja Dasharatha, when he shot the arrow, he did not see Sarva Kumar, he thought it was a deer. And when he shot it there, what happened? It was Sarva, not a deer. So skillful he was. So the Guru Dronacharya made Arjuna the best of archers. And one day Arjun, he saw a dog, and in the mouth of the dog he saw many arrows stuck in the mouth. So he said, "Somebody had to be better than me to do this." So he took the dog and he went to his Guru and said, "Guruji, you promised me you would make me the best of archers, but somebody you thought is better than me." The Guru smiled and said, "My son, I didn't teach anybody." But you know what happened? One day, a hunter came, and the hunter asked me to be his Guru. But when I looked at the potential of this hunter, he was going to be a better archer than you. I promised to make you the best, so I did not teach him. So how did he get the knowledge, Guruji? He made a murti of me, and he worshipped me through that murti, and that Gyana knowledge dawned upon him. So I did break that promise. Raman says, Shri Ram Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai. There's one Hindi word we must always remember, and that one is vachan. Vachan kya hai? What is vachan? The word, the promise you gave. When you give your word, Sri Ram in the Ramayana, Bhagavan Shiva says, Prana Jai, better you give up your life than to break the promise you made. Well, let's not look at it that way. before you give a promise, before you make a promise, before you give your word, think carefully, can I keep my word? And if you cannot keep it, then don't give the word. You see. So Guruji said, I did not break my promise. Just Shash, I have to follow the teachings. I am the Guru, but the Guru is not above the scriptures. The Guru is not above the law of the scriptures. Each one of us, we have to follow the laws of the scriptures. That's Shastra. So then how did this man achieve this knowledge? So that image, like we worship Lord Shiva and the Shiva Lingam. You see, if you look at the Shiva Lingam, we worship Lord Shiva and that Shiva Lingam. The Shiva Lingam is the form of Lord Shiva. And when you worship Bhagavan through the medium of the Lingam, the offerings reach him directly. Wherever he may be on Kailash Parvat, wherever he may be. When you offer that water and that puja on this Shiva Lingam and any Shiva Lingam, it reaches Bhagavan in Kailash. Listen to Lord Shiva before I tell you the rest. Shivaya Shantaya Bhagavara Baba. So let's all use our words. Another wild katha will be finished. Short katha is simple. So let's use our back and bring vibration and let us get a blessings of Bhagavan Shiva. Namah Shivaya Shantaya Bhagavara Baba. Namah Shivaya Shantaya Bhagavara Baba. Such was the love of the Guru for him. But look what happened. Dharma chete Kuru chete samvita yutsava mamaka paravasya kimku sanjaya. So when the Mahabharata war had to be fought then, Lord Krishna with Arjuna and the chariot, he drove the chariot into the middle of the battlefield. And the sound of the shank and the battle drum sounded, friends. That is not the story. The Mahabharata war is the history of, India and the history of Hinduism. When I went to India, that's one of the places we visited. Kurukshetra, where the war was fought. But that's not important. Listen. So when Arjuna looked up, now Arjuna was a powerful warrior, and he was a fearless warrior. He defeated many of the strongest warriors in his days. When he looked, he saw his forefather in front of him. He saw his guru in front of him, and he saw his grandfather in front of him in the opposing army. And these are the people he had to fight against. We don't fight against our gurus. We don't fight against our grandparents and our parents. We bow down in humility to them. Whether we are right or we are not right, we bow down to them. Their word is the word of God. So you think he's going to fight this one? They both fell out of his shoulder, his knees started to tremble, and he stumbled in the back of the chariot. He looked at Lord Krishna, with sad eyes. Kadham bhishma maham sanghe dolam charidusuna. Yeshu ek pratyot swami pujahar visudana, O Krishna. That's my guru. That's my grandfather. Can I fight against him? How is this possible? And so the Mahabharata continues. You see, so the concept of the guru is a very important teaching in Sanatan Dharma. Principle of Sri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. You know, occasionally we need to be reminded about our parents and our gurus and our teachers. Sometimes we need to be reminded I too. So let's talk about the Holy Shadow. Long ago, Deodath says, so good that the astonished angels came down from the heaven to see how immortal a man like him could be so godly. The gods from the heavens, they said, to see how an ordinary man could be so godly. So godly he was. He simply went about his daily life, diffusing virtue as the star diffuses light, and the flower perfume. Wherever he went, he did so much good, but he was not aware that what he was doing. 2 words summed up his day. He gave and he forgave. Yet these words never fell from his lips. They were expressed in his ready smile, in his kindness, in his forbearance and his charity. He never said a word. The angel said to God, Lord, grant him the gift of a miracle. This man is so good, he's like a God. Grant him the gift of a miracle. God replied, I consent, ask what he wants. So they said to the saint, should you like the touch of your hands to heal the sick? Do you want when you touch someone that person will be healed? He said, no. I would rather that God should do that. So they asked him, should you like to convert guilty souls and bring back wandering hearts to the right path? He said, no, I don't want that. That is the mission of the angels and the devils. I pray, I do not want to convert anyone. So they said to him, the angels said to him again, should you like to become a model of patience, attracting men to you? Do you want the power to attract men to you? No, said the saint. If men should be attracted to me, then they will forget about God. I don't want that gift. So what do you desire then? The angels asked. What can I wish for? As the smiling saint, that God gave me his grace. With that I should have anything. God should give me his grace. With that I should have everything. But the angels wished, you must ask for a miracle, or one will be forced upon you. Very well, said the saint, that I may do a great deal of good without even knowing that I am doing good. I must do a great deal of good without knowing I am doing any good. The angels were a bit confused. So they sat together and they came up with a plan. We will give him a gift. So we will bless him. And listen to the blessing. Everything the saint's shadow shall fall behind him on either side, so that he will not see it. It should have the power to cure and to heal and to soothe and to comfort. The blessed shadow. Whenever his shadow, he cannot see his shadow. If it falls at the side or behind him, he must have the power to cure, to heal, to soothe and to comfort. And so it came to pass. When the saint walked along, his shadow thrown on the ground on either side or behind him, the path became green. The plants started to blossom. The dried up rivers started to have water. The pale colors started to become bright. Little children, they were happy, and the sick and the distressed, they were healed through the touch of his shadow. And the people respected his humility, followed him silently, never speaking to him about his miracles. Little by little, they gave him the name. And what name they give to him? The Holy Shadow. You see, all of this can be summed up in 2 words. He believed in doing good. Para upakara artham idam shariram. This is this beautiful body that we have. It's a loan that God has given to us to use, not for selfish purpose. You see, friends, in the end, this is mine and this is mine and this is mine. Kya mera, kya tera. You see? So in the end, life was meant for a better purpose. Para upakar means for the service of others. You make the sacrifices, others will benefit. And in the end, what will happen? We will all rise together. So remember, the holy shadow is all about selfless service to humanity. Parapupakar, without knowing that you have done something good, and without looking for the reward, you go out there and do what you could do. And in the end, the blessings will be each one of us. Friends, Prabhu Ramachandra ki jai. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, Hare Rama, Hare The Holy Ramayana of Sant Tulsidas Ji, friends, a gem of amongst all scriptures. And Ramayana tells us about Shri Ram kahani, lekin Shri Ram kaun hai? But who is this Shri Ram? Parvati Devi had such a doubt. When she saw Lord Shiva hands blossom out of Bhagwan Shiva, Parvati Devi had that doubt. She came to Bhagwan Shiva, she bowed at the feet of Lord Shiva. Katha sunado humko, tell me, ye kaun hai? Who is this Shri Ram? The world bows down to you, who you bowing to? And so, this holy Ramayana from beginning to end was recited by Lord Shiva to Parvati Devi. The Ram Charita Manas, Manas means the mind. Bhagwan Shiva, he keeps this episode in his mind. I need a book, you need a book to read. But Bhagwan Shiva, he closed his eyes and he started to recite Sri Ram kahani, thereby dispelling the doubts of the mind of Parvati Devi. You see, friends, I always say, Ramayana has a solution for every problem in life. Ramayana has a katha for every occasion. Shri Ram Kahani, the life and teachings of the Lord Bhagwan Shri Ram. Shri Ram hai Sukha ka dham, Are mana bhajale Sita Ram. One of the greatest names presented in the Ramayana is the name Ram. The name Ram itself, Shri Ram hai Sukha ka dham. The name Shri Ram, Ram naam hai ati meetha hai. Khatta aur meetha. Khatta kya hai? Sour, bitter. Meetha means sweet. See, the name Shri Ram is ati meetha. Jana sake to jane ko, we can understand this. You see this? So, Bhagwan Shri Ram, the role model of human perfection. Shri Ram is the role model of human perfection. So let us see what happens this evening in Shri Ram Kahani. Shri Ram Jaya Shri Ram Jaya 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 Rama Shri Ram Jaya 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 Ramayana is not only about the story of Shri Ram and him, but thousands of years people read in the Ramayana and the story will never change. You will always hear the story, but behind the story, what is so important is what is embedded in the story. You see the pearls that you have, it comes from deep down within the ocean, deep down within. The diver has to dive down and come up with the priceless pearls and then make a pearl necklace for Lord Ganesh. So it is, this Ramayana is like the ocean, so deep it is. We have to interpret what it is about. The story will never change. Ramayana is about living a purposeful life. Friends, you must have a purpose in life. This is what life is about, having a purpose. And we have to fulfill that purpose of life. It's about dutiful living. We have a duty to God and to ourselves. You see, Ramayana is about a rewarding life. The rewards we can get in life, friends. Yes, we are going to be rewarded. Look at Hanumanji. Hanumanji was given this beautiful necklace, shining, glittering necklace. Hanumanji looked at it. What was he searching for? He put it in his mouth and he bit one of the beads, he broke it. This beautiful, priceless necklace Sita gave to him. And then he started to bite up the beads and he's looking inside, but he's seeing nothing. Everybody is looking at him. This priceless necklace, this being, Hanumanji, is destroying this. They could not bear it. What are you searching for, Hanumanji? He says, I am searching to see what is inside. The glamour and the glitter of this necklace does not attract me. There should be something more precious than this. But everyone he broke up, he could not find what he was searching for. What he was searching for. The sour, the essence. Atma Rama Ananda Swarupa. You see inside of this body of yours, you know what there is? Yes, there is the heart and the lungs and all of this. But you know what keeps the heart beating? Atma, the soul within. If you don't have a soul, you know that's the gem. And Hanumanji is looking for that precious gem. Ram is the gem. Ram and Nam and Amora Ratana. You see the name Shri Ram. The Doha says, Ram Nam Man De Padharo, Ram Nam Man De Padharo, a priceless gem. Money is priceless. Money is this priceless gem. Rama Nam, what is the priceless gem? The name Rama. And you know, as Hindus, we always chant this name. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram. Bolo Ram, Bolo Ram. You see, that is the priceless gem. If there's one light and you want light in heaven, also where will you put the light? At the doorway. The door of this body, the mouth itself. And the mouth must be, no, what is the jewel of the mouth? So jewel for the ears. Jewels are on the neck. Jewels for the finger, the wrist, the ankles, the toes. You have jewels for the entire body. What is the jewel of the mouth? The jewel of the mouth is Ram and Nam. The name Shri Ram is the jewel that adorns the lips of each one of us. When you say the name Ram, Ati Sundar, Ati Meetha, so sweet is it. You ever hear anybody vex and tell you Sita Ram, what is vex? No, they won't tell you Sita Ram, they tell you something else. Right? You see, Prem, the name is recited with love. That's the power of the name. So that's the name. Look at Bhagavan Shiva. When Lord Shiva sits, that is the name he chants. When Hanumanji sits at the feet of the Lord, he chants that beautiful name, Rama, Rama, Raghupati. When Bharat was for 14 years suffering, sitting on a seat made of coarse grass, waiting for Sri Ram, Sravata Nayana Jalaja, tears flowing from his eyes. You know what sustained Bharat for 14 years? Bharat can eat and can sleep. You know what his worries? You know what is worries? No, I don't want worry to be worried. Worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do and it takes you nowhere. Right? You sit on a rocking chair and you're rocking. It takes you nowhere. How far did you go? But you have something to do. So you have to be careful. And so, for 14 years, it is the name Ram that sustained Bharat, Sita Devi. When Hanumanji went in Ashok Vatika, there was Sita Devi. For 14 years, Sita ate nothing in Ashok Vatika and she drank nothing. Nothing to eat and drink in the city of Lanka. So how did she live? You see, the name Sri Ram is what sustained her. You see, it is the name, friends. I could tell you from now to the next 25 years about the name Sri Ram, we still can't understand it. Jana sake to jana, if only you can experience, that's an experience, you see, friends. Mere Ram, Mere Ram. For 40 years, Sita Devi sat there. Some of the night from her eyes, tears are flowing. But the name Sri Ram, she didn't give up that gem. She held on to that name Sri Ram. And this is what, makes Sita one of the most dignified persons in the world. Sita's not a story. She was a girl just like all of you. Mere man mera, mere tan mera, mere ro me samaya, mere saaso me tera, oh mere saaso me tera. This is what the Ramayana is all about, friends. It's about Bhagavan Sri Ram. It's about a rewarding life, friends. You cannot lose, you never lose when you spend time in the Ramayana. Ramayana is about enlightenment and living. It's a so special a way of life, friends. Ramayana is about the timeless principles for enlightened living. The timeless principles, friends. This is what this Ramayana is all about. This is why Bhagavan Shiva keeps it in his mind. Such is the value, the importance and the greatness of Sri Rama Kahani, the life and the teachings of Bhagavan Sri Rama. So remember, Sri Rama has Sukha Hare Mana Bhajale Sita. If only we can understand. But friends, you have to experience. Ramayana is not something I could tell you about. You have to experience it. When Hanumanji sits down and listens to Ramayana Katha, Kahata Sunat Avat Akhiyo Me Pani, water, tears come to the eyes of Hanumanji. Such is the power that this holy scripture has. Shri Ram hai Sukha Dham, Hare Mana Bhajale Sita Ram. Shri Ram hai Sukha Dham, Hare Mana Bhajale Sita Ram. Oh my God, you take me so many places. Take me to where Shri Ram Katha is. Take me to where I can recite the name of Shri Ram. Shri Ram hai Sukha Dham, Hare Mana Bhajale Sita Ram. Hare Mana Bhajale Sita Ram. Hare Mana Bhajale Sita Ram. Chanting the name Sri Ram, sorrows are destroyed. You know what is the mantra for happiness? That one name, Ram. If only you can use it. All the food is on the table. Right? If you don't eat, what will happen? You will still be hungry. We have the tools, friends. All we need to do is to use the tools. You see? We have to use the tools. And by chanting the tools, you know what you are doing with it? You are invigorating it. You are energizing it. A man went for a job. He had an axe. So he was given the job to cut down a set of trees. So first day he cut down 18 trees. Boss said, good, well done. Second day he cut down 16. Boss said, something is wrong. Third day he cut down 12 trees. And so the number kept dwindling. So the boss called him and said, what's the matter? He said, I don't know. So the boss looked at the axe and saw the axe had become so dull. He said, when was the last time you sharpened the axe? He said, well, I'm busy cutting trees. I didn't get time to sharpen the axe. He said, go sharpen the axe and start back again. The sharpening process will enable you to achieve. The sharpening process will enable you to achieve. So friends, by chanting the name Rama, it sharpens the mind, the intellect. The name Ram changes. It changes us to be better people. So Rama tells us about that beautiful form, Sri Ram. Pratana said the Rama Ekabara. So one day Sri Ram, he took his brothers and he decided he is going to visit one of the beautiful gardens in Ayodhya. Sangaparam Priyapona. And so, Sri Ram and his brothers, they took with them Hanumanji. There is something called Shiva Parivar. Shiva Parivar is the family of Lord Shiva. Sri Ram Parivar, the family of Sri Ram. And each one of us, we have a family also. togetherness. A family is about togetherness. A family is bonded by love. Prema ki dori, by the cord of love. Love is what binds a family together. If family loses hatred, you know what will happen? Dr. Persha, what will happen? There will be dissension, there will be difficulties. You see, prema ki dori, the core of love is what holds a family together. But you see, when KK requested that Sri Ram should go to the forest, the cord of love was cut. The cord was broken. It brought about separation. You see. So we have to be very mindful in the parivar, in our family, we have to hold them together. And if we do not hold our family together, then there's going to be dissension. And then we will end up with a broken family. Some gone this way, some gone that way. This is what we don't want. So we must be like the great saint, giving and forgiving. That's the principle. So the four brothers, Sri Ram, Lakshman, Bharata, Sattva, they took with them Hanumanji. These are four brothers who lived in harmony, in unity, in love, togetherness. You know, Ramayana tells us about brothers. How brothers live. Ramayana tells us how brothers live. Two brothers, Ravana and Kumbhakara. Okay, tonight you're going to choose which one you want to be like. Listen carefully. Ravana and Kumbhakara. Ravan said, Kumbhakaran said to Ravan, Kama, Krodha, Mada, Lobha, Sama, Nata, Narakakipad, he said, brother, you are going the path of destruction. Give up your ways and turn to Sri Ram. Is that good advice? You know what Ravan gave him? Charana Prihakya. Ravan went to this foot and struck to this foot. He said, oh. He came to Sri Ram. So you could be like that. When you get good brotherly advice, you can accept it, or on the other hand, don't lift your foot for anybody. And don't lift your hands for anybody. Please don't do that. And don't raise your voice on anybody. How would I mean? Okay, that's just. Raman is about enlightened living. If you want to be like Ravan, no problem. So, look at Vali and Sugriva. Anywhere Vali, Sugriva, Vali saw Sugriva, Sugriva will get it. So Sugriva had to run and hide. You could be like that too, no problem. Or you could be like Sri Ram and Lakshman. Now when I say brothers, I mean sisters too. Let's not exclude anybody. One day Sri Ram and Lakshman, they were together when Sri Lakshmana was separated from Sri Ram. And Lakshman started to cry and will never stop. No matter tiring could I help him. Guru Vashi said, bring him back, put him next to Sri Ram. And all the crying stopped. When Sri Ram was ready to go to exile, Lakshmana was not supposed to go. He dressed himself and he went. You see, we have role models we could follow. This is what Ramayana is about. You know, the timeless principles of enlightened living. So the four brothers together. But look at something. When the Raja Dasharatha one day looked at himself in the mirror, so he fixed his brow nicely. And then he saw the hair on the end, around his hair stood in green. So he stopped for a while and he stood at the mirror staring. And you know, as if the grey hairs were whispering in his ears, Raja Abhura Samay Agaya. Now you have become old. Step down and crown Sri Ram. So he called on his Guru and said, Guruji, take my message to Sri Ram. When Sri Ram heard that his father had selected him, how did Sri Ram respond? For me, tomorrow I'm going to be the king. Man, I'm so happy. What about you? But man, the jump for joy. I was being celebrated before it started. But Sri Ram became very thoughtful. Sri Ram started to Rama Hridaya Asa Vishmaya Bhayo, a kind of uneasiness came over him. Sri Ram did not become happy, a kind of uneasiness. And Sri Ram started to ask himself questions, and an old question Sri Ram asked himself. We're talking about the four brothers. So Sri Ram started to think. Janma ek sanga sab bhai. He says, wait, we are 4 brothers. Janma ek sang, we were born at the same time. Bhojana shayana kheli larkai, bhojan as well. You're going to get bhojan this evening. Don't you have meals, right? Yes, I have bhojan meals. Bhojan, we ate together, shayan, we slept together, kheli, we played together, larkai is children. So look what Sri Rama is. What is going to his mind? We are 4 brothers, we were born at the same time, we played together, we ate together, we slept together. Karana Vena Upavita Vivaha, he says our heirs were placed. Do you place heirs of boys? Yes, he placed heirs of boys. So our boys were heirs to be. Okay, that's the start. Okay. That's one of the ceremonies. Karana Vena, the placing of the heirs. Karana Vena Upavita, you see the sacred chair that we like? So they got the sacred chair together. Karana Vena Upavita Vivaha, they were married together. Now Sri Ram asked, so why did my father select me? We have 4 brothers, we went through everything together. Why did my father select me? So that is the question Sri Ram is asking himself. Now why do you think that Sri Ram was selected? Varani Ram Gunashira Subhava, Sri Ram had leadership qualities. When we look at our children, every child has a different ability. But we want all our children, he must be doctor, he must be lawyer, he must be... But every child has a different ability. And one of the things we have to discover is the ability for children. Sometimes children come and say, Dad, I can't make a school again. So what you do? You force the child to do. That child has another ability. You have to discover the ability of that child. And you lead the child in that direction. So Sri Ram had the leadership ability. So Sri Ram, he told about equality amongst his brothers. We are 4 brothers, we are equal. This is how Sri Ram looks at the equality. One day Lord Ganesh and his little friends, they were playing and they started to feel hungry. So on that day, Parvati Devi did not make any meals. So Ganesh Baba is hungry, little child Ganesh. So they went searching for food. They saw the ashram of Gautam and Ahilya. So when Ganesh peeped at an ashram, he didn't see anybody. He saw the pot covered food already prepared. So Ganesh went through the door and he took up the pot of food and he went behind the ashram. He says, "Our bhojan ka samay kam, I bring food." So he placed all of them to sit down and Ganesh started to share for each one of them. And the word that is used in the Katha is barabar, equally. Lord Ganesh gave everybody an equal share and he took an equal share for himself. So everybody, they were given an equal share. If we will share, I keep a little more for myself. And that's how we do. No, but Bhagavan says equality. And that's a message to all of us as parents. That's a message for parents. We must look at our children equally. We must not favor some. Of course, it is sometimes it is child. Son, help me put up this rod. Oh God, later. Said, son, come help me. Said, yes, I come. Let's go. So what happens? Sometimes some are reluctant to be there at your side, sometimes not. But the point is, we must look at them equally. So, Brahmana said the Rama Ekavara. So once the 4 brothers of equality, they took with them Sri Hanuman, Upavat Bhagavad Dekhane Gaye, and they went to visit this beautiful garden. And this garden, Pallav, leaves, fresh leaves, bricks, food rahe hai, trees are bearing, bright trees with flowers. So in this garden, you have trees with fresh leaves and beautiful flowers and fruits. And Bhagavan Sri Ram enters into this garden. Now what is this garden we are speaking about? Sri Ram enters into the world. Life itself is like a garden. You see, life itself is like a garden. And each one of us, we are like a gardener. You may not be planted, grain crops. But the seeds we are sowing are the seeds of action. You see, the gardener puts the seed in the ground and takes care of it, and then you get fruits and flowers. So it is. We are gardeners in the garden of life, and we are sowing the seeds of actions. You see, so the good things we do will produce sweet fruits, and the not so good things we do will bring forth bitter fruits. Bhagavan Krishna says, Sukha Dukha, in life itself, we will have the joys and the sorrows. Good things will bring happiness, not good things will bring sorrow. So, there are two birds sitting in the same branch. They flew in different directions. One saw a tree with beautiful mangoes, ripe, delicious mangoes. And they started to pick the mangoes, enjoying the sweetness. Next one saw a tree with red fruits. He landed on that tree and started to nibble. Both of them came back and sat on the same branch. One was enjoying the sweetness of the mango. The next one, it happened to be a red hot pepper tree. So he nibbled the hot pepper, and he's coming now, enjoying the bitterness. These are the two actions, these are the two types of seeds. So in this life, this is where we perform karma, friends. Here, when we will go up there, we can't perform karma up there. Up there is to pick the fruits. See, up there is to reap the rewards. So, in life itself, we have to enjoy the fruits of our own good actions. So, Jani Samay Sanakarika, and then, as Sri Rama and the brothers journeyed through this garden, 4 sages decided to visit this garden. And who were these 4 sages? Sanat, Sanatan, Sanatan, Sanatana. And these are the 4 sons of Brahma. Now, Brahma, he created these 4 sons. And his purpose is they will get married and they will have children, and this will start. But these 4 sons decided they won't get married. So they became brahmachari, they started to meditate on God. So Brahma failed in his mission. The purpose of creating them was they will get married and they will have children after. Okay, I should ask you, what's the purpose of marriage? Marriage is the second stage. We rehearse ashram. So we move up on the second stage of life itself. So then he went to Lord Shiva, and of course he explained to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, from the left half of his body, he created the beautiful goddess. And from that time, creation started. Rather, people started to come in this world. Of course, that's just something we do. So the 4 sages, they entered in this garden. And what happens from here will now take us into tomorrow night's bedtime. So Doctor, we will continue from here tonight or night. Yes. So beautiful message, right? I'm sure there is something like that we can have gathered from this. Principal Prabhu Ramachandra ki jai. So let's join for the Rajasiddhas, Havan with Doctor and his doing. And while this takes place, we join together as well for Vishesh, as one of his projects, and then we go straight into the closing. So friends, all of this is made possible this evening through the invitation of our good friend Dr. Bridget. Something, if you look at the Murti, you see Sri Ram, Lakshman and Sita. The Lakshman Murti was donated by Dr. Bridget. He and his family, they gave us that Murti. And you see, all those Murtis were donated by many of you. You all made all those donations, and for this we are very proud. So let's join together, and then we will continue.
Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. Siya Ram, Siya Ram. सिया राम जय राम जो राम जपी वो पाँच भजन सीता राम जपे जन सफल सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम जय जय सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम जय जय सीता श्री रामाय श्री
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तं न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु प्रतिदिनं कुशलं जयमङ्गलम् ॐ शान्ति 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 हरिः ॐ। बोलो प्रभु रामचंद्र की जय, मापति महादेव की जय, पौनपुत्र हनुमान की जय, नवदुर्गा माता की जय, महाकाली माता की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय, सकल पंच जय जय सीताराम।